been a little while since I've come around this thing, but I was a little weak there for a few months, losing all that weight for the Dallas Buyers Club, and had myself a few cheeseburgers and went down to the bar a few times, got a couple of big plates of nachos, and tried to gain all that weight back, because I'm not doing the action hero stuff for a while, so I might as well load up the right way. Now, trust me, when you burn all that weight off and you go get yourself some cheeseburgers and some nachos, that's the way to go. Don't worry about trying to healthily put back on that weight. You just got to put something on your bones, all right? I mean, I was really, really skinny. It was scary, Like that movie, The Machinist. I don't know if y'all have ever seen that, the one with Christian Bale.
No.
Where he gets down to, like, super, super skinny. Oh, it's freaky, man. Check that stuff out. Just Google Christian Bale, The Machinist. Like, I really thought I was going to lose my mind.
You're skinny. I mean, you're almost as skinny as Mike Bauman, man.
I mean, it got to the point where my dog would just look at me and run, man. He thought I was like Skeletor. It was really awful.
He ran because you thought you were going to eat him.
That, too.
That's probably what it was.
That, too. I may or may not have had that thought cross my mind once or twice. All right. Hey, everybody. How's it going? It's been a little while since I busted out Mr. Matthew McConaughey, so I thought I'd bring him out of retirement after several weeks where we just kind of did some serious intros. Although last week I may have done
We've never done a serious intro.
I may have done a weird intro. But this is Mike Bauman, and I am with Mike Jameson.
Peace.
And it's an early morning here in Rossford, Ohio. And this Midwest weather, it's just keeps coming, baby, because now it's
like 82 degrees out there, right?
It's like 37, which in Midwest is like 65. Yeah. So it's possible there'll be people walking around in shorts and stuff today. And, and I'm happy, though, because I went to bed last night with all the weather people just going bananas over
God, it's going to be
storm.
so bad.
Yeah.
Did they name it? Did they, this one is Ice Storm Lola or something, Lana or something. Really? I'm serious. That's the Weather Channel named they're naming winter storms now.
Oh, gosh.
And this one was named Lana or Louise. It began with an L.
Whose idea do you think that was? They never give them, my point is they never give them scary names. Like, you know what I mean? You give a scary name to stuff, and people will start leaving, you know? Stop with all these, names that would sound like a 90s sitcom. Lala, Sandy, Katrina. They need to give them spooky names,
Give me one.
A really scary name?
Yeah.
I don't know, like Beelzebub or something.
Oh, there you go.
Like, just name it after like, something, like, really freaky. Or Hurricane Judas, it will betray you. You know what I mean? Call it Hurricane Judas, because then people will subliminally make the connection. Like, what?
And they may leave.
It will betray me if I stay.
Yeah, that's our government once again being grown to ungodly proportions, and now they had to appropriate funds to give a guy a job. And your job is naming storms for the winter solstice.
Or Hurricane Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Or Hurricane Slasher 88, Slasher movie 1988, or Hurricane Jason Voorhees. Or just Hurricane Voorhees, as you know, because then people make the connection. It'll be like one of those things where it's like a flash memory. You just see something and it triggers something, like you just see like a pepperoni pizza, or you smell something, you're like, I remember when I was 8 and I was riding down the street and there was wind and it scared me. But we give them all these wimpy names, and then people are like, I gotta work in the morning, la la, and they wake up and their tree is like in their living room just because it's full of ice and it just fell over. But I really think that would make a difference. Give them scary names. First, start off with like 80s horror movies, or then be like, Hurricane Pennywise.
Yeah.
And then actually dress up the weatherman as a clown. Like, I'm coming for you.
See, that would be great.
I am the eater.
That's what they used to do.
And of children. And you are next.
That's what they used to do.
Girly boy.
They used to dress up like that. They used to do wild and crazy, funny things, cool things. Let's face it. I mean, weathermen suck. I mean, they just do.
I mean, I'm not going to throw them under the bus.
No. You and I can do just as good a job as they can do now, because the computers that are, I mean, you can just sit on your thing and watch National Radar. You know what's coming.
Well, we picked the wrong job then, brother.
Well, no, I mean, oh yeah, there's a tornado coming. Let me tell you, when they got them little circle things now showing where the tornado is coming and everything, and when you see it on radar on TV, you're scared poopless, man, because there's like 20 different little circles going on there, and your house is near it. There ain't no tornado. There's potential for the development of a tornado right there. Watch, just.
I mean, just in general, there's a lot of fear that's used to control people or to scare people, and I mean, even the news has
communist. Damn it!
The news has that format. They hit you with like a really like gut wrenching story, and then they close it off with we adopted 4 puppies this week here at the station, and little Susie Q needs a home, and they show like the cutest little cat in the world. You know what I mean? But it does. Yep. News has had, and I'm not knocking them for it, but it has. It's had the same format for years and years and years, and I think weathermen are kind of in that weird middle ground where they're like, okay, if I'm not serious about this, then maybe people won't take it seriously. So if I say, oh, there's potential for this or that, then maybe people will get up a little bit earlier and they'll still get ready for their day. You know what I mean? And rather be safe than sorry.
98% of the time, it's like, oh my God, the sky is falling. The sky will fall tomorrow morning. Yes, the sky is going to fall overnight, and then nothing happens.
I mean, my thing is like if you get up at a decent time, like this morning I woke up and I set my alarm for 10 after 7. So I'm like, okay, even if there is really bad ice, I'm going to go out there. If my door happens to be frozen shut, which has happened before, I'll get some hot water, dump it on it. I still got 10 minutes to warm my car. I'll scrape off my window, and I will still be to Rossford by 8 a.m. because I will make sure I give myself enough time in the morning to get ready. So that's my whole thing with the weather, man. Like and like my stepdad loves it. I mean, he's got this WeatherLink thing to our house. He's got this thing.
That's what I mean.
He's got this thing downstairs that shows like all these different readings. I mean, he is a total nerd. It's like,
yeah, he's a weather nerd.
He's a total nerd for it.
That's cool.
He loves it.
I'm like that too. My dad was like that too. That's why, when there's a big storm and everything coming, it's like I'd rather watch it on the computer than hear the theater. It's theater. It's actually like a Broadway theater when there's a tornado coming. And they got all 16 of our meteorologists and they're like they're standing right next to each other, like standing over top of each other. Oh my God, and this and this and we'll go, and they're right in the middle of the sentence. Then the next guy's got to talk, and then they say the same thing over and over. Remember, for hours, be like 3 hours as this thing's coming, and it's like, dear goodness gracious.
I love it how they go they send these poor guys out to these places. When there's like Hurricane Sandy and all these
CNN,
and these guys can't even stand up. They're getting pelted in the face with all this rain. TV. They're like, I like that. John, I can't stand up, but as you can see, it's pretty terrible out here. I'm glad this job offers me health care, because I got to tell you, I think my skin's going to come off. Oh, and that's why they do it. They do it and then they come back and they always say the same thing, like, well, it looks like it's pretty bad. It was like, well, no crap.
Yeah.
The guy can barely stand up. There's 30-mile-an-hour winds. You guys got him out in the middle of the friggin' street in a desolate area where nobody is because the weather's terrible, to show us how terrible it is. You couldn't pay me to do that for all the
That's what's wrong with America. I mean, we can't give enough money to pay for people to eat. But we have 6,500 different news corps that'll go out there and talk about the same thing. It's just sad. It's just sad.
You know what, man? It's a crazy world we be living in, but luckily there's still a lot of good people here. But yes,
there's 4 good people and 600 million bad.
Well, that's why the 4 good people got to rise up.
All right.
But seriously, that's why you got to educate yourself,
Yep.
Everybody's got smartphones and all this stuff now. It's educate yourself.
Educate
yourself. Be self-aware. Be self-conscious. And make sure that I'm the type of guy, maybe that's just the journalist in me. There's a lot of stuff I really don't take at face value. because to me, life, you got to experience things to truly understand the good and the bad and people and and everything. You know what I mean? So, yeah, when it comes to the weather and stuff, I mean, I look at it. But I don't, when they, there's a big ice storm coming, I'm like, he just wants to be the first guy that, and that's the thing. Breaking news is changing a lot too, because, now people are getting news off of Twitter. So it's kind of funny to me, even though when they're like, we're here at 17 Action News, and we've got a breaking story for you. And then it's like you turn on the other channel, they're like, here at 12.2 Action News, we broke the story. Sally Jones III is on the field, or Adam Apple is with us, and it's like, you know what I mean? Things are changing, and the problem is technology is advancing faster than we are.
Right.
And it's really weird because it's kind of getting to a point where it's like sci-fi-ish in the world we're living in, because things that, just look at even the last 5 years, how much things have changed in the phone. Everybody has a smartphone now.
Oh, yeah.
The cell phone companies have the best advertisers in the world. They have convinced everyone that everybody needs a smartphone.
It's funny, too. I had a friend of mine, I haven't talked to her in years, and she had messaged me on Facebook Saturday night at 9:30 at night and said, I might have an advertising thing for you. I have this cleaning company, blah, 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 blah. And so I figured, I'll give her a call on Monday, right? Mm-hmm. Right? You're right.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'm just going to spit this up. Go ahead. Keep talking. Sorry, don't look. Just don't look. Out of sight, out of mind. Don't look at it.
Anywho, last night at about 9 o'clock, she messages me again on Facebook that I cannot believe I called you and I wanted some information, blah, 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 blah. She X'd me out of her Facebook.
What?
All because she goes, I saw you on Facebook today and you had talked to other people, but you didn't give me your thing back. And I couldn't even email her back because she completely deleted her account. I'm like, oh my God, I got Sunday. There's one day of the week I don't do business.
Yeah.
I might get on Facebook and scream and yell and bitch and rant, but I do all of my stuff because I was, defragging all these hard drives. And I was doing it on my little tablet, so I don't, and oh my God. Is that what the world's come to now? Somebody calls you at 9:30 at night on a Saturday. They want information right then, now.
Well, it's definitely making us more impatient.
Oh.
And not only that, but now we're all convinced that multitasking is a good thing.
Right.
You can text, you can talk, you can wipe your butt, you can sneeze, you can surf the internet, you can send emails everything is you do 12 things at once. And I think people are just stressed out of their minds because now that's the expectation.
Right.
Now the expectation is to multitask, and we're so busy looking at our phones that we're not, or not even that, or we're on the computer and we're, doing this, doing that, doing this, doing that. And then by the time you actually do have a second to stop and think, you're like, oh my gosh, like I just need to holy shnikes.
Exactly.
So I don't know, man. I think we just all need to take a deep breath. We all just need to calm down, calm yourself, take it all in, but, I'm not, watch the news, keep up to date on stuff, educate yourself, take my thing is, and my stepdad was even saying that to me yesterday. He's like, when you just get stressed, just take a couple of deep breaths, calm down,
that's all I can do.
In stride. You know what I mean? And that's how you get through the craziness that's going on around you. But it's funny because my buddies still make fun of me for having a flip phone, and this thing's 4 years old. I've been due for an upgrade since February 2011. But you know what? I can't even tell you how many phone interviews on it. The thing's been through hell. It's been in water. It's been in beer. It's been in other beverages.
And it works.
It's hit the ground. It's indestructible, and it works. I've had to glue a couple buttons back on. One of them fell off, never to be seen again. But so is it time to upgrade? Yes, it probably is. But at the same time, you know what? And people are like, what? You're a journalist and you don't have a smartphone? What? what? I mean, it's people look at you like you got like you just said you threw a baby in a river. Yeah, how's your day, Mike? Yeah, I woke up today, found a little baby, I just threw him in a river. What? You threw a baby? I mean, they give you the same reaction like you just slaughtered, innocent, puppies or something. I'm like, what, well, dude? Like it works and it's functional. I've done all the stories that you've read by me. 99.89, no, all of them have been done on this phone. So it's like, I will upgrade when, I start making a little bit more money and I can afford a cell phone that.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, because
it's expensive. I mean, if you want to get data and all, it's like $100 a month.
I mean, people, honest to God, complain and bitch about not having any money, and they've got a $150 phone bill, they got a $200 cable bill, and I mean, poor people,
right? $100 shoes,
no matter what.
$150
poor people
coat.
Still have that $120 phone and the $180 cable, and then they're at Rent-A-Center buying a brand new 55-inch TV that's cost them another $55 a month or a week. So that's another $200 a month they're giving to Rent-A-Center.
Dude, I don't worry about keeping up with the Joneses, man. You know what I mean?
It blows me away.
I mean, eventually, yes, and eventually we'll probably be in the sooner rather than later in the near future, I will upgrade. But it's like, you know what? I still check my emails religiously. I do a lot of work from home as a journalist, so I'm still up to date on my stuff, man. And,
hey, we can get a hold of you. That's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you even talk to a band this week?
I did. I absolutely did.
We're 18 minutes into this thing already.
Well, doesn't matter rain or shine, baby, warm or cold, you can check out this band. But in all seriousness, though, the guy I talked to this week is a young fella.
Yay!
He's a young fella.
Sorry. I didn't mean it being a young fellow. I said yay. No, I didn't mean that.
Yeah,
I watched To Catch a Predator last night. So.
That's weird. Did you? Was that really on? Yeah. Is that still going?
MSNBC. It's on every Sunday night.
Is it still going?
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
See, I don't like watching that stuff.
It's pretty bad.
I just don't. I don't.
These guys are idiots.
I don't like watching it because see, some people I think like watching stuff like that or like reality TV in general because it makes them feel better about themselves.
Yeah.
But for me, it makes me feel worse about the world that I live in.
To know
that there's just so many weirdos and stuff.
And you know what? Most of these guys were just nice, normal guys that probably couldn't get a girlfriend. Weren't attractive or anything, and the girl or the people would befriend them, and then they'd get into that talk, man, and then, hi, I'm Chris Wallace. Do you know who I am? Man, I'd be pulling out my CCW and blowing my brains out right then and there on TV because it's over.
Dude, there's a lot. That's why I don't.
These guys, their life's over. This guy went in to meet a 14-year-old girl. He's 32 years old.
See, that's weird though to me.
He's got a 9-year-old and a 12-year-old daughter, and Chris asks, "Where's your wife and kids at?" And he goes, "They're on a camping trip." Can you imagine coming home from there? And then another guy, his mom was prosecuting attorney for that county, and his dad was the head cop in that county.
Oh, I'm not surprised by that. Sometimes those are the worst kids, because their parents are authority figures and they just act like idiots.
And he was a dweeb, man. He was just, a super dweeb, So,
dude, I don't do that internet chat room stuff. Back when AIM was huge,
never did.
And then we will actually get into some music here, I promise. But back when, AOL Instant Messenger was like the thing in junior high before everybody and their brother had cell phones. That was like the thing was AOL Instant Messenger, and I remember, I used to not talk to people I did not know.
Right.
Now sometimes you get a message from somebody because they find out your screen name from a friend, and they'd be like, "Oh, this is Melissa." I'll be like, "Oh, it's Melissa. Okay, I didn't know who you were." But one time I got this weird one, and I almost feel like it was like a To Catch a Predator situation because I felt like by the language that whoever was using, that there's no way it could have been somebody who was a kid. There's no way. And I felt like it was almost like somebody was trying to bait me to say some like bad stuff. And I'm not going to, because I'm not a weirdo who fantasizes about 13-year-old girls, which granted
Especially
at the time I was 14,
yeah,
so that
well, yeah,
been,
you did.
You know,
at that point, you probably did.
But I'm going to be 25. Like, I'm not looking at 13-year-olds. It's
gross.
They
had 50-year-old men.
It's disgusting.
Oh, Jesus.
But this guy, whoever it was like, started talking to me and da-da-da, and I was kind of and that's the thing, like, I'm nice, so I was messaging him back, and then they did, like, you know how you do, like, your away message or whatever, and it said something like, hey, I'm going to take a shower, don't go thinking about me in the bare bun, and then I was like, deleted, blocked, see you later, It was really weird, and then I was like, dude, this is some weird stuff, and that's the thing, you don't know who you're talking to.
I know.
One time, a girl that I knew, her mom was on her thing, and I was like, hey, what's up, Lauren? And then there was like a couple messages, and we were friends, so there was nothing. I never said anything deviant on there. I had some people say some weird stuff to me,
right? But
I never said anything like awful.
I've never,
and then all of a sudden she's like, oh, this is Lauren's mom, and I was like, it's just weird, and that's the thing now. There's not a lot of face-to-face communication going on anymore. Like, I hate it when people get in text wars with me. Like, say it to my face.
Right.
You know what I mean? I am a say it to my face guy, because it's like serious communication needs to be reserved for either a phone call, if you absolutely can't see a person in face, a phone call, or face-to-face communication. And that's the thing. Technology, we all hide behind this stuff now.
Yep.
And people are using, the social media, which can be a really positive thing for businesses and marketing and stuff. It's great for all that. But we're using it to, like, creep on people. You got that big Teo story with the guy stealing the chick's picture, which I will only speak about this for very briefly. But it's like, I personally don't care whether or not Manti Te'o's girlfriend is fake. It doesn't affect me. I don't know why people – I really think the reason that story is a huge story, the fact that Lance Armstrong cheated and doped and what really treated some people very terribly and when he was doping and winning his 7 Tour de France's, or France, however you want to say it, that to me is way worse than the Manti Teo thing. But the Manti Teo thing is juicy because a lot of people, and I really think this is why, we have been turned into voyeurs because of this culture that we live in, and we're all creeping on each other and looking around and snooping. And I really think people want to know whether or not is he gay? Are him and this Renaya Toisiasa Sopo, is there a gay thing going? It's the dirt. It's the dirt. And it's like, can we just knock it off?
And it'll pass.
Can we focus on things that are important? Yeah. I mean, as somebody who's done sports writing for a long time, coaches lie to you all the time.
Yeah.
Coaches lie all the time about way worse stuff. There's athletes doing way worse. Why do we care that he had a fake girlfriend? Oh, he lied. Well, guess what? So does the coach of your favorite team. Every day he lies to you for a competitive advantage. He's going to say that so-and-so's got a sore foot and really he's probably healthy or he's got a broken foot, but he doesn't want the other team to know. So guess what? He lies to me, and you guys forget that journalists, my job is to tell you guys the truth. My job is to be a truth seeker for you guys, and then they get it. Then they get you so manipulated that you're mad at the media for breaking news that's true, rather than being mad at the people who lied. And that to me, that's not a story. People are going after that because they're hoping there's some kind of weird fetishy angle going on, and that's why they want to know. It doesn't affect anybody. Nobody who's heard about that story is affected by that. The only people that are affected are this guy who's clearly got some sociopathic issues, that Renaya guy, because he's done this to more than one person, allegedly, and the poor girl who got her stuff stolen off of Facebook, which is why I don't have a personal Facebook profile. And I know you and I have discussed this, but that's why I don't have that. Now, professional Facebook, for a business, that, once again, I think it's good to use for business purposes, but there are way too many people doing way too many things they shouldn't be on the internet, and I would just rather stay away from the crazies and focus on my business. Just like today. Focus on the business. We are going to talk about some music now. We just had to get some things off our chest. It's good to vent. It's good to vent. This is Coffee Talk. Coffee, we drink coffee, we talk, no big whoop. But the guy I talked to this week is somebody I first spoke to way back when the summer was starting. He's a young fella from Toledo, which always excites me when I see local artists and musicians doing cool things, and on top of it, they're good people. And this guy this week is Nick Hamm, a 2012 START graduate from Toledo, Ohio. He's the guitarist for the band Citizen, and they are making a lot of noise right now. They've done so much touring within the last year, and not even just within the last year, really within like the last 6 to 8 months. They've just been all over the place. They've been into Canada. They've been all across the United States, and it's crazy because if you go to YouTube and click on videos of live concerts, I mean, there's kids all over the country just going bonkers at their shows, singing their songs back to them, stage diving, crowd surfing, and it was cool to talk to them again because they've got a lot of really, really cool stuff coming up. And they basically, their story is Nick and his brother Eric, who's the bassist in Citizen. They've been playing music together for a really long time, and they've pretty much always been in a band with the lead singer Matt, and I think you say his last name, Karakis. But they've all the three of those guys have been in a band together in some level or another for a really long time, and they've been playing music together, doing shows together, and this kind of birthed out of other musical projects that they had going on a few years ago, and they put out a couple of different splits and EPs, and all of a sudden their stuff just started to really take off. They played a lot of shows locally, started doing some stuff regionally, and now they are really just making a big name for themselves. I know I'm kind of stumbling over my words a little bit. It's early, forgive me, but it's really cool because they're really young guys. You know, I mean, Nick just graduated from high school. Matt just graduated from Bedford, and the band's rounded out by Craig Wilson on drums and Ryland Ohlers on guitar. But it's just cool because you can tell by the shows and the music that they make, like it's a visceral experience for them. It's an emotional experience for them. And Nick, you know, literally went from graduating high school to touring the country. And wow. I just think that's just crazy and awesome. And we talked a lot about that. That was their first national tour. You know, most kids, you know, they have that couple-month window where they still have time to be doing stupid stuff and still being kids before they get ready for college or career or whatever. And, you know, Nick and his bandmates set off on this national tour, went all around the country, and since they came off of that tour, they've been doing a lot of stuff since August. And there's just a lot of really cool stuff going on with this band, and it's awesome to see local dudes doing things the right way. And you know, it was just he was just a really good kid and good. And I feel stupid even saying kid because I'm 24. I'm a friggin' kid. I mean, come on, I'm a friggin' kid. But it's cool, man. They're young dudes, and they make great music. And so without further ado, I'm going to shut the heck up because we've been ranting long enough, and I don't want to lose your attention span. So here is, without further ado, Nick Hamm, guitarist for Citizen.
It was actually kind of funny because I was in, this is totally off topic, but I was at Walmart the other day, and I don't know if it was you or your brother, and it was one of those weird things where it's like, I know we've talked, but I know you've probably never seen me before, and I looked over and I was like, I think that's Nick and Ryland from Citizen, but it was like 10:45 at night, and I'm like, if I go up to him, this is going to be like very strange. So if there was a dude like 3 aisles down that kind of looked over a few times, and maybe you're like, I wonder if this dude's looking at me. That's why.
Okay. Yeah, we were there 2 days in a row, and I don't know why, because we don't go there very often, so it's funny that we happen to be there at the same time.
Yeah, I was hanging out with my buddies watching football all day, and then, like, towards the end of the night, one of my buddies, Dave, he was like, dude, I want to make a Walmart run, and I think it'll be fun if we all go, so let's go to Walmart at, like, 10:45 at night, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I appreciate the time, and I know it's been kind of a wild ride for you guys sort of within the last year. Can you talk about just the last time we talked, I think it was right before you guys were about to do your summer tour. What was that like when you're just sort of getting out of high school and going and seeing the country?
That first tour, it was pretty crazy because we had never even traveled. I don't think we had traveled west as a band. I think the furthest we had been was like Chicago. So it was a lot of our first times seeing the country, and that was pretty crazy in itself. But playing shows in California, there was one specific show where in California there was 200 people there, and it's so crazy because that's a similar crowd that we draw in Toledo. So it's pretty crazy to go out to a state that far for the first time and be playing for that many people that already know who you are and know your words and sing along. It's pretty wild, especially coming out of high school.
Yeah, I think just about every YouTube video I've seen when I've tried to catch live footage of you guys within the last several months and just sort of keep up to date on what's been going on, there's kids all across the country that are like singing your songs and singing along. And actually, I think one of the YouTube videos I did see was from I don't know if it was a show that you were talking about in California, but there was one where wherever in the notes they put, California Citizen, and kids were like stage jiving and jumping off the stuff and jumping around. And I mean, is that just kind of surreal when you're out in California for like the first time ever and all these kids are just like going crazy?
Yeah, it was really insane. There were shows on that tour where we were playing for 20 people, and then there was like one person singing along. And then it's really crazy to have that and then jump to a show where you're playing for hundreds that are all singing along and stage diving and, whatnot. So it really is surreal. And there's not really, there's not really an adrenaline rush like that. Like it's just really, really insane, especially being as unexperienced as we were.
Yeah, and it's funny you mention that because I feel like a lot of things in life we kind of go through that inner monologue in our heads where we're right before we're about to do something or we're about to make changes, we kind of go, all right, am I really ready for this? Like you kind of second guess yourself, but then I think a lot of things in life there's just some things where you just got to dive in head first, and there really is no way to tell whether you're ready or not. You just got to kind of just hit the go button and do it. Was that sort of what it was like when you're on tour for the first time? Like you just like, all right, we just got to dive in and see what happens.
Right. Yeah. We it was when we did the tour, we were kind of in a weird spot in our band where we didn't really know where we stood as far as, I guess, popularity, for lack of a better word, as far as popularity goes. So we really didn't know what to expect at all. We thought, well, we'll probably be playing for, hopefully like 40 kids a night. And I think we probably averaged about 75 a night on the tour. Of course, some nights were, way better than others. But we kind of just had to make that decision to take that risk. We didn't know if we'd be losing money or if it'd even be worth it at all. But in the end, I think it turned out to be a really good decision.
Yeah, and I know you guys are on Run for Cover, and I know they're an indie label. So when you set out on a national tour like this, like are you guys getting like a per diem every day? Are they helping you with gas, or is this just all sort of out of pocket? Like how does that work?
Our booking agent set up. We had guarantees every night, but it basically covered the bare minimum. Basically covered gas every night. We initially weren't doing any per diems or anything, and about halfway through, I think we had decided that we had enough money to where we could do a band meal a day, and then in the end, it turned out that was probably a huge waste of money. lot of it was out of pocket for food and whatnot. Gas, we didn't have to cut in to our own pockets, thankfully, but I know it being our first time across the country, there's a lot of different foods that we wanted to try, so we spent a lot of personal money just kind of exploring and going different places. But other than that, I think for the most part we survived on the guarantee we had.
What's it like when this finally happens and you're getting to see different places and stuff? Because I gotta imagine that you kind of learn a lot about each other, even more so than just to this point. Because obviously you and your brother are in the band, and you guys have known Matt for a really long time, and you guys have been playing shows and doing stuff together for a while. But I think it's obviously a lot more intimate when you're just sort of piling in a van and you're probably seeing the best and the worst of each other, like on an everyday basis, and playing shows every day, and maybe have 1 or 2 days off in between. Like, what did you kind of learn about yourself and the band and the guys and take away from that experience?
I think as friends it made us all a lot closer. We were forced to be in close quarters with one another, which could be pretty disastrous. But in this case, I think it only made us closer. And obviously, me and Eric were already used to it, so it wasn't a big transition. And I usually would hang out with Ryland, every day, so it wasn't too much of a change. But I know there were some days where we wanted to kill each other, but for the most part, it went pretty smoothly, and I think we're stronger as a band and as friends now than we were before we did the tour, or any tours for that matter.
Because when did you guys get back from that? Was it like July, August?
Yeah, it was, I think around August 8th, I think was the day we got home.
So you guys were out on the road touring the country for a good, 2 months then?
Yeah, it was, I think, 7 weeks. So it was pretty long. It was almost as long as Warped Tour, so...
So were some of the low days when you guys decided to try some like weird Mexican food, you just sort of sleep with like the van bus windows or the van windows open at that point?
We it's actually funny. Mexican food wasn't. I'm not a huge fan of Mexican food, but everybody else is. So we would almost every day, like that whole strip of the country from like Texas to to like Northern California. All anybody wanted to eat was Mexican, and try all these, authentic places. Every day I just wanted to kill myself. But then it turned out everybody started to hate Mexican food from all of that. So I was at an advantage from about Oregon until we got home. And so that was good at least. But yeah, I think I actually don't think we had to sleep in the van at all on that tour. At the time, we were still traveling in a Durango.
Okay.
Which was really awful. But since then, we've gotten a van. But yeah, I think people helped us out every night of that tour. We had a place to stay, which was really awesome. And I didn't really expect that either. That was another surprise to me because I didn't know how many people would be willing to put 5 random people up in their house, so that was really cool.
Really? So you just had like fans and stuff that would offer you a place to sleep?
Yeah, it was awesome. I think for the most part, our booking agent came on the tour actually with Light Years, and he's toured quite a bit, so he had connections and people that had let them stay with them before. So that helped a lot, but other than that, if we didn't have a place, we'd just say it during our set, and 9 times out of 10, somebody would come up to us and tell us it was cool, or if not, we would just keep getting a hold of, people we knew in the area that that could help us out. So that was nice.
What was your? Did you have like a favorite spot or a favorite couple of spots as far as like things that you wanted to see outside of just playing shows? Like, were there any places in particular that you really liked?
Yeah, we actually went to the Grand Canyon, which was really insane because we didn't expect to be able to, because we weren't really playing near the Grand Canyon. So we drove 10 hours out of the way to go, and we got there right as the sun was rising. So it was just like, it was really insane to see something that you only see on TV and all that. So that was pretty crazy. And also it was my first time going to New York City. So that was pretty eye-opening. I don't know if it was a good eye-opening or not, but that was pretty cool too. And as far as shows go, I always loved playing Boston, and I think Boston was one of the coolest cities in the country. So that was also like really cool.
So was New York City? You just saw a lot of scary Larrys, so to speak.
What was pretty awful about it is that we played in Brooklyn, and my cousin actually lives in Manhattan, and that was the only person we knew in the area. So she came out to our show, and then we had to drive to some random parking lot in Brooklyn, catch a train to Manhattan, which was, 5 kids from Ohio, Michigan, and Indiana trying to figure out the subway in New York City was pretty alarming. And we finally got to Manhattan. It was like 1 or 2 in the morning, and we had to walk and find her apartment, and that was pretty awful. But she lives right by Central Park, so we woke up in the morning and got to walk around the city, and that was really cool. But we were 3 hours late for our show the next day, so that probably is bad.
So what's it been like since you guys have gotten back from that summer tour? Because I know you guys have continued to play shows all around still, and I think you guys were in Canada too, right?
Yeah. Since the summer tour, we've done, I think, three other tours. I think the 3 of them were all pretty brief, but the first 2 kind of connected to be a full U.S., and everything we've done since that tour has been really awesome and a lot better than the last. The last tour we did was Canada and U.S., and that was us headlining, which was a new experience, and that was probably the coolest tour we've done. It was our first time playing Canada, and Toronto. Our show in Toronto was probably the coolest show we've ever played. So that was pretty nuts.
Yeah, and at that point you're seeing people from a different country even singing your stuff too. That's got to be kind of wild.
Yeah, it was insane how many people already knew about us. I didn't really know what to expect because we had never played there, but it was definitely one of the coolest places we played. We played Montreal, and that was kind of weird. That maybe was our worst show ever. But so I don't know. But Canada's still pretty cool.
I've heard Toronto is a pretty cool city.
Yeah, it is. It was awesome. It wasn't too different from what we're used to, so it wasn't a huge change of pace. But Montreal, and we played a place called Victoriaville, I believe. Those are both pretty weird for us. It was kind of like being in Europe. So that was a change of pace for us.
Was there like a lot of French people? Because Montreal is that's Quebec, right?
Right, yeah. Both of those shows were at Quebec, and we just kind of talked to ourselves because nobody was really speaking English, which we were told to expect that. So
Right.
I guess we weren't surprised, but we had to have the promoter order food for us and stuff.
How were the shows themselves there? Were they all right?
Yeah, we played Toronto and Ottawa the first 2 days, and both of those shows, I think they actually might have both sold out. I know that the Ottawa show was just it was a coffee shop, and it was like 75 cab, and there was probably over 75 people in there, so that was pretty crazy. And Toronto, I think there was like 250 people there, which was really crazy. And then both the Victoriaville and Montreal shows, I think there was barely anybody who knew who we were. So it was a big spectrum, and I don't know. I guess you can't really know what to expect across Canada, I suppose.
Now, the last time I talked to you, I know you guys said you were also going to try to start recording a full length with I think it was Will Yip. You said, have you guys gotten a chance to even get the ball rolling for that, or no, because of all the touring?
We actually are going into the studio to record February 9th.
Oh, okay.
And we're doing that with Will Yip, and I think it's going to be an early summer release. And we've got a lot of songs ready for it, and I think it's definitely the best music we've written thus far. So we're all excited about it.
So where do you got to go to record for that?
His studio's in Conshohocken, Pennsylvania. It's like right out of Philly.
That ought to be cool, because I know he's worked with everybody from I think Papa Roach and CKY. I mean, there's a lot of different bands that he's worked with.
Yeah, he's got so much experience, and it's cool that he's still helping out smaller bands because his production quality is good enough to be doing, whatever he wants to. So it's really cool, and the studio that he works at is pretty legendary. It's had anywhere from Bob Dylan to Boys to Men record there, so it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and so are you guys going to be there for most of February then?
Yeah, we're going to be there from the 9th until March 1st, I believe. So
what's this like when you just sort of go from I have to imagine that when you grow up and you're getting into music and you're wanting to do this, you kind of know that you're going to be away from home a lot and on the road and doing different things, but are you kind of getting used to sort of this schedule of now music it's a passion, but it's also kind of a career focus?
Yeah, I think I guess I can't really speak for everybody, but I know I'm used to it at this point, and it's kind of gotten to the point where when I'm gone, I'm excited to get home, towards the end of a tour or whatever. But then I'm home for a few days, and I just want to leave again. So that's good because it always gives me something to be excited about. And I don't know, I like being away because it makes me appreciate Toledo a lot more. When I get home, it's like I think Toledo is like the greatest place. So that's cool. This
upcoming tour, you guys, one of the bands that's going to be on there is Man Overboard, and I remember you saying you guys got a tour offer while you were all still in high school with those guys, but you couldn't go because you were all still in school. What's it going to be like to finally have this come to fruition, you think?
This upcoming tour, I mean, it definitely is going to be the best tour we've ever done, and it's going to be pretty crazy. There's going to be hundreds of people there every night, and if a show's not good, but I don't think we're going to have to worry about it at all for this tour. And so far in Man Overboard, both have huge fan bases, so it's going to be really cool to support a tour like that rather than, headline or be one of the bands that the draws are determined by.
And this tour, I think you guys are closing with the Jamboree in Toledo, right?
Right, yeah.
That's kind of cool that it kind of comes full circle like that.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited about that because, the first day, I think we start in Dallas, Texas, so that'll suck because we're going to have to drive all the way there, but it's really cool that it ends in Toledo because then we have to drive 10 minutes back to our houses instead of driving 10 hours home or whatever.
Now, what's it been like with Run for Cover? And as far as, obviously you guys have done a lot of touring, and now you're getting on some bigger stuff with some bigger bands. What's the relationship been like with those guys? How have they treated you?
Run for Cover's been awesome so far. If we ever need help, whether it be, financially or if we just need, we need opinions on anything we're doing or, any help at all, they're always eager to help us, and it's really cool. Having support from a label that's doing, what I think is putting out the coolest records that this scene has. So, I don't know, it's really cool, and I think our relationship with them just keeps getting better, and I think their label keeps getting cooler, so hopefully it continues.
That's good to hear, because sometimes, I'll be online, and as somebody who's I write about music, but I also am a huge fan of music, and sometimes you see interviews with bands who are at quote-unquote major labels or sort of big names in the industry, and they kind of describe sometimes, sort of that leech mentality where they just sort of feel like they're another name on the line, and the label's sending them off to do this tour or that tour, and they don't really feel that important. So that's cool that for young guys like you're getting a taste of what this is like if you want to do it as a career, but you're also getting a good experience.
Right. I think it's the perfect place for us right now. I constantly hear horror stories from bands on major labels or even indie labels that just wish they were major labels. It's just, I think Run for Cover is doing things the right way, and I think it's good to stick with that as far as we can.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty evident too, when you get somewhere and you can tell if the passion from the label for music is the same as the passion that of the bands that represent it. I think that's always probably the best marriage, is when you're with a label that has just as much fun promoting you guys and trying to get you guys, the best tours and the best producers and stuff. I think that's kind of what makes the longevity of some bands so long is, especially nowadays with the internet, because there's so much out there. So that's cool, man.
Yeah, I totally agree.
The last thing I'll ask you, Nick, and thanks again, man, for taking the time on kind of short notice. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
So basically the scope for 2013 is, you guys are going to do this Toledo show before you sort of go off and venture off and do the recording and do this tour, and then you're shooting for hopefully a summer release for this full-length album?
Yeah, we're going to release, the album should be released early summer, and we have a lot of cool things to announce also that I can't talk about for the year, but I know that 2013 will be the best year so far for Citizens. So,
hola. Well, I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, that's a little fire under your butt, didn't it? Yeah, that's what's up, man.
I'm up now.
That's what's up.
Who is Ola? Is it just one of your characters?
No, hola means hello.
No, I know. But who's Hola, the way you said that, is that one of your characters, or is that based on a, like a Grissom novel or something?
I don't know, just hola.
Oh, okay.
I feel like it's a very strong Spanish word, and you just got to say it with some pep. You don't go hola. Hola, ¿cómo está usted, señor?
You do if you're down the bottom of a tunnel and
¿Cómo está usted?
And you haven't eaten in weeks and drank anything. That's hola.
Yo soy malo.
Yeah.
No, come on. I mean, you don't want to be all sad and depressed, man. It's New Year, new stuff. Just like that interview that you got right there.
That was good.
With Nick Hamm, guitarist, a citizen,
Toledo boy too.
Young fella, Toledo boy, making some cool music, and they're on a label that's giving them a lot of really good support right now. Run for Cover Records, a really good indie label based out of Boston, Massachusetts, if my memory serves me right. And they're putting out a lot of good stuff. They're giving these guys support. And how cool is that, man? These guys are going to record with Will Yip, who's worked with all kinds of big bands, and indie bands. I mean, he works with anybody creatively that he feels like there's a vibe with, it seems like. And it's awesome that this guy who's worked with bands like CKY and Papa Roach and the Wonder Years, and I think Title Fight's even among those bands.
Wow.
These guys are going to record with him February 9th, as you heard. And then right after that, they're going to be coming back, and they'll have, I think, about a week to kind of chill and get their stuff together. And then they're going to be heading out on the road for the Suppy Nation tour with The Story So Far, Man Overboard, Tonight Alive, and the American Scene. And it's going to be really cool because those guys are going to be playing to even more fans. They're going to be support on the bill. So it's not going to ride on them in terms of having to worry about being a headliner, and they can bring their energy and get people pepped up for the headliners, and at the same time maybe draw in some new fans, and I really think that they will. So it's just awesome. They're good dudes. That's the second time I've talked to Nick, and they put on energetic shows. I mean, all I got to do is just go on YouTube and type in Citizen Toledo, and you will find all kinds of videos of kids just going nuts. And that's what's cool, is when you see bands start out at this level, when they're playing in front of 40 to 200 people. Sometimes they're playing with 20 people, but I can guarantee you that even if Citizen's playing in front of 20 people, all 20 of them are going to be going freaking crazy during the show, and it's awesome to see. And that's how you know when something's real or not. When your music that you're making, that you believe in, is connecting with people, as you guys heard Nick talk about in that interview. There's nothing like that. When you go across the country for the first time, and you've got 200 kids, at a venue in California, place is packed, and they're all singing your lyrics, and you just came thousands and thousands of miles away in Toledo, and these kids all know your word and stuff. That's pretty cool. So, thank you, Nick, for the conversation, man. It was fun talking to you. I wish you guys nothing but the best. And for the rest of you, make sure you check these guys out. Go to facebook.com/citizentheband. And like we were talking about earlier, you can use social media for good stuff, like finding out about bands and when their tour dates are and stuff that's going on the road, and, links to stories and stuff like this one. But make sure you go to facebook.com/citizentheband and stay up to date with those guys. Like them on there. And support their music, because they've got a lot of big stuff coming up. Their full length is going to be out probably early summer. They're shooting for right now, and they're recording with an awesome producer, Will Yip, in Philadelphia, it's just cool, man. It's cool, and that's why I wanted to bring this one to you guys. I was hoping to do the initial one way back in the summer, and we had a lot of stuff going on, and it took a little bit of time to get the ball rolling for this podcast, but now she's rolling, baby. She's rolling, and it's not stopping. And a big reason it's not stopping is because you guys have been so awesome in supporting the show and checking it out every week. Every month, the channel visits have gone up, and I'll go in and look at where shows were downloaded from, and it's nuts that there's people from, friggin', the United States, Canada, Netherlands, China, Peru, Norway. I mean, it's Turkey. It's crazy, man. And I thank all of you for tuning in. Russia. I mean, it's nuts. It's nuts. And that was my whole thing for this was, I wanted to find a way to connect with people in a positive way. You know, there's a lot of negative stuff in the world. I even am way too negative, and I get down on myself sometimes, and I'm a friggin' worrywart, and doing stuff like this and finding a positive way to connect with people. It's uplifting for me, and I hope it's uplifting for you. Like, I hope you guys, when you get done listening to these shows, feel a little bit better. You feel like you just found out some new, intriguing information, and you're discovering new music, and that's the beautiful thing about music. You know, like anything else, it can be used for good or bad, and in this case, it's awesome to be able to use it for the good, and have people from all over the world maybe find out about bands and artists that they weren't previously aware of. And then you tell somebody, and then they tell somebody, and pretty soon Citizen, maybe they're going to Europe in a couple of years because they've got a lot of fans over there. So it's just, it's cool to know that in my small corner of the world that I can have some type of positive effect, hopefully. And so thank you for listening to the show, for real, from the bottom of my heart. It's awesome. Mike and I would do this if there were 4 people listening because it's fun, and we enjoy it, and we bounce stuff off each other in here, and we goof around. But the fact that, you know, this thing is growing and that you guys are digging it is it's incredibly humbling. So thank you for checking out Bauman's Breakdown.podbean.com. I'm going to do it as long as I can do it, and it's also free on iTunes, as you know. But thank you, everybody. And like I said, thank you to Nick Hamm and Citizen. A lot of really cool stuff going on locally in Toledo. I mean, I think this is the 19th show now.
Wow.
Yeah, we started this in September. I'm pretty sure this is number 19. This podcast episode, and I want to say at least a third of the artists that I've shared with you guys have been Toledo artists, and that just says a lot about what's going on here musically. You know, people poo-poo Northwest Ohio, but there's
incredible music here.
There's a lot of really good music here. We just had Pat Daly, who I know you've done some stuff with, on the cover of Toledo Free Press Star. You know, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff going on here, so it's cool to see guys like Nick who really believe in what they're doing and are going about it the right way. They're on a label that's got a lot of awesome stuff going on that's supporting them. It's good all the way around. So thank you to all of you, and make sure you keep checking us out at ToledoSportsNetwork.com. Check out my handiwork at ToledoFreePress.com. And, yeah, I'm on Twitter at mbauman5. But please, if you're a spammer, don't send me some avatar that says, you know, Sally XXX is her website, and it's some
send it to me.
half-naked chick, you know. Don't spam me, you spammers. Who are these spammers, by the way? I mean, come on. I know that's not real when I'm on Twitter and there's a new follower and I look at it and it's some half-naked chick in a bikini that's barely covering the coverage areas that should be covered in public view. And then her website link is Sally-XXX- insert sex act here. Like, exactly. I know it's not real. I don't know why we
but
have
it's nice to know that they care enough to send you that.
Come on, guys. You know what? This is 2013, and I'm going to challenge all of you this year to just be a good human being. You know, hold the door open for somebody who's trailing, and you know, maybe it's an old lady, maybe it's somebody who's freezing their butt off just like you. Just do good deeds. You know, if somebody drops their phone, don't go and hide it and then try to hold the phone for ransom and say, oh, you got to pay me this much to get it back, or try to sell it. Don't steal, don't lie, don't cheat. Just be a good person. Our world's survival, in my humble opinion, really depends on the human race and how we come together, or how we drive ourselves apart. You know, be good to one another. That's why I say that at the end of every show. My grandpa used to say that. He used to write that in every holiday card he sent my mom and my aunt and my uncle and everybody for Christmas, because he believed in that. He believed in treating people the right way. You know, not being a pushover. I'm not saying lay down for people and let them walk all over you, but just be good to people, man. You know, live in love. Spread that. Spread positivity. Our world needs it right now. And on that note, I'll close it up by saying keep the faith and be kind to one another.